Shabbat Shalom. Good morning, fellow Ambazonians. Today, na Friday, number 3 day for this month of February 2023. My name na Capo Daniel. I am the Deputy Defense Chief and the Anti-Kidnapping Czar of the Ambazonian Defense Forces, the ADF, and the spokesperson of the Ambazonian Governing Council, the Egg of Sea, aka Sense Pass King, una own countryman, Ambazonian FBI. Una welcome to our daily podcast, a program where we bring una the truth, meaningful information, fact-based analysis for help we as we waka for this journey to our freedom, the independence of Ambazonia. Good people of Ambazonia, this episode it could be very short due to lack of time, but it be very, very crucial as we want to send one primary message for Ground Zero for all sons and daughters of Ambazonia. This coming March, the colonial governors of both states, they then be tasked for have a strong push with propaganda for show and demonstrate for the world and to La Republic to come around their kangaroo system, say them be in charge and say they don't help for reduce the Ambazonian resistance, despite the fact it shows say the contrary it be true. We fight a resistance war, our population they hold their ground, and our demand for independence and outright separation it be even stronger than before. La Republic they lost more military men than before. They don't even suspend all their attempts for can reinstall their colonial deal and SDO because they don't try to do and so repeatedly for the past 6 years in over work. We are in a more stronger position than now, but propaganda will be very powerful. We call on all Ambazonian soldiers, all forces, including one of the biggest forces that will get for Insafako, the Ambazonian Mountain Lions of General Sagat. We call on them and all forces them for stand up and for back their population and for back we all, because at the end of the day, all Ambazonian forces are fighting for us, the people, we the people of Ambazonia, and for themselves and for our country. We need them now more than ever before. We will redouble our effort to defend the integrity of our people and their plight and their quest for independence. Major investment that the governing council have put with the fall of General Transporter into glory. We have had some setbacks, but that does not mean we have not rebounded. We are working very hard behind the scene, the governing council and the APLM, the two leaders that God has blessed our nation with, nationalist leader Dr. Cho Lucas Ayaba and Ebenezer Kwanga. They are working very hard, and all the forces with the network that we have put in place to make sure that everything is on track. But we need all hands on deck, and we need our population to recognize the capacity of Cameroon to do propaganda. We heard and we have monitored the visit of Okala Bilai, the chief terrorist, for the first time moving into certain strategic area in our town to demonstrate to our population a delusion of reality on the ground. Ambazonia remain control of over 80% of our territory. They are ungovernable for La Republic, and we have driven away their colonial administrators, and we are calling on our people that come March, La Republic to Cameroon is counting on the so-called unelected councillors. They are now the main focus in their strategy from the information we are having to make sure that they legitimize the illegal Cameroon Senate election with the schedule for March this year. Any Ambazonia where Ibida receive money for this so-called council of them, protection money, so that make them get a blind eye, where leadership they don't know the way they don't come back, they still stay amongst we. Since the colonial mayor them, they don't become na core eye where all we look am, we don't give a blind eye somehow for this so-called council of them. The councillor they don't become na the main instrument of colonialism, the main instrument for the enemy for justify the continuous killing of our people, the main instrument for use them for rubbish the Ambazonian sons and daughters where they don't fall in glory for protect their people them, the main instrument for continue for legitimize the burning down of our villages and the killing and maiming of our people. The main instrument where they use them for infiltrate and breach our securities at the borders, for use Fulani Boko Harams from Kano, Nigeria, for begin invade our grazer, our farmlands. These people them, they go commit the biggest crime where they ever commit them for their life, for go participate for this so-called senator election where they come. Any person where they for Ambazonia, where you know some person when a La République du Cameroon occupation Colonial councillor, call send the message, make it here, they go use them make pepper soup. Any man way na Colonial councillor, you take yourself so you want to go participate for La République du Cameroon their senator election. After all the killing, murning, Cameroon using terrorist tactics against our own people, then you say you carry your foot so you go join them. And they do una a favor for put out this warning, because it don't reach for Ambazonian forces and our people them for their neck. They go carry all the palaver, all the pain we poor Bia go down gam. They go leave all man focus for una. If your papa, your uncle, any of your family member na Cameroon Colonial unelected councillor for inside Ambazonia, call them and tell them there will be no hiding place for them in Ambazonia. No protection money, no connection with Ambazonian forces will be able to save you from the raft of our people and their sovereign state, which they are struggling to exert. A councillor who go and participate to legitimize this process is worse than the senators themselves who are hiding in Yaoundé. They are not part of our society. They are not in contact with our community. They are impostors who sit in Yaoundé, vampires seeking to milk the blood of our people for personal gains. There will be no hiding place for them either. But for the councillors, the one in Bamenda, the ones in Kwen, who have gone to attend a meeting, we heard that they have been infighting with them, with some of the other ones who live around Mankor area being afraid to go to that meeting. So the division is clearly within them. They can actually feel the wind coming. That wind is gathering, and that wind will come and it will meet you there where you are. So this should be a warning to all colonial councillors. Do not betray your country. Do not do your worst. Do not attempt to associate with this election. If you do, gather your back, follow the so-called Senate of a place where they for Yaoundé. Go hide for day. The words to a wise is sufficient. With our colonial teacher them, if you be in Ambazonian where you go for La République du Cameroon, their government school for go teach or be a staff member. If you be na them, the 4 way our soldier is down for General Mbolla for inside Manude, if 4 they fight this fight for una. All the anger way it don't happen for you, it go fall for your head if you be Cameroon government teacher. Just come out for the school. If you know any Cameroon government teacher where to go work, if you know them, you the smell and you even suspect, pass that information through. Pass that information to the nearest Ambazonian barracks. Pass that information very, very fast. There will be zero tolerance for collaborators, for enablers of colonialism and Cameroon terrorism. We don't get a lot of feedback from our citizens where they talk about General Mbolla, the ADF commander, where he done fall for battle, and they complain La République they take full advantage. They remove all video them for General Mbolla for 2019, the time where he be work here and Ayeke and General Diamond. These our heroes them. At that moment, they be deceived by people them where they be use traditional medicine that they accuse villagers them for do kind things in which people them. They be done turn against our people then become a big pain in their ass. But just like a lot of our youths them, where they don't become prostitutes, so when they don't become thieves, so when they don't become con men, not be because of their own liking or lack of home bringing, but not because of victim. They are also victim of the colonial state that have disenfranchised our people and cut them off from every God-given potentials of resources that they have to empower themselves. Our people have become poor, destitute, and have become forced to do things that the people of Ambazonia of the olden days would have never dreamed of doing. Many have become thieves, many have become criminals, prostitutes. People are even trying to cross the desert, having children in the desert to be able to seek asylum in Europe. We have no more dignity left. Many of these young guys, just like Fonte, who had committed armed robbery and a lot of bad things before, have found meaning in their life in the struggle for our liberation. Many of these children, some of them who have come to us, like Fonte was before, he had a bad record. He was a thief in Bamenda, highly known by everybody, and people were surprised when we were standing up for him to defend his integrity and honor. It was because he was a changed man. From the day General Efang took him in, from the day General Cross and Die, they brought him in, the ADF, Bamenda Brigade, they brought him in, they reformed him, they trained him, give him an education, and he found new meaning in his life. To sacrifice and put his life on the line, to die for the same people that he was a terror to them previously because of poverty or because of the situation that we find ourselves in. Fonte was a hero. And it's the same thing with General Mbolla. A lot of people will go back to the old stories the enemy is using on social media to point out that General Mbolla had been some problem with the people. I want the people to know, especially the people in Etoko, my 27, that General Mbolla, after he was reformed, was the main person that fight the criminal gang that have taken advantage of our struggle, calling themselves Restoration Forces, who are just criminals and total thieves. They have no links with any restoration, command and control or political wing, but these were gangs that come from Nigeria into our territory and terrorize our people. At one time, in 2019, General Mbolla was in that network, but since he became an ADF commander, he had been helping his community. The last job he did actually was called by our people in Ekoto, where he came and rescued 7 bikes that were seized from the community by those boys, those criminals. He is a hero. He's been celebrated by his people. I've just had tons and tons of messages coming to thank him for his service through us. We will forever honor him. He's a hero. He died as a hero. And our people should know that. And we call on all of our people who have been put destitute by the colonialism in Ambazonia, who have become poor, to see the reason why we fight. Just like the children in Malende, all of them in Mbolla Road there, who have been digging Sansan. Today you see that the colonialists are coming with machine to replace them, having no care for the people. Independence means independence. Like Dr. Chua Yaba said, independence is an abstract. You must know the content to know why we fight. We fight for the common boy and girl in the street of Ambazonia to have the right to be empowered by a government that cares for them. For the Sansan boy in Malende, for a government that is responsible, instead of facilitating vampires to come into their community and take away their job and the Sansan that they have used to feed their children, we fight for a government of their own who is going to make critical investment for them, like we see in Europe. Buy a machine, create a union for those boys and hand those machines to them for them to be able to exploit that Sansan with less labor and have direct benefit and a say in how capital flow in that treasure, which is theirs, will be spent. We want a Ambazonia where our government will look our resources in Indian, our petroleum, and know that the population that lives in that area have a bigger gain in that petroleum. We will not be exploiting our own people. We will be empowering them. We want a government where our water resources that have been built by our communities will be used by the people there for free. We want our own government where our people will have the civil liberty to choose their own leaders, form their own government and govern themselves, print their own currency and defend themselves and be a responsible partner in the international community. We want to empower our people. We want them to be organized. We want to restore the dignity of our people. Independence actually means independence. Independence shouldn't be an abstract. And that way, every Ambazonian should see the reason why we fight and should join the fight. Cameroon is imploding. We are anticipating a period of strife and degrading of their economy. Prices will be going up. It is a ruin. They have infighting. The center cannot hold. Ambazonia should stand firm, observe the Monday ghost town, and continue the armed resistance. We will be bringing you more details, even in colors, not only in black and white and in audio, in our communication network, the ACN television. We call on all Ambazonian forces to continue to treat our population with honor and respect and to take note of the movement of a contingent of La République du Cameroon, their task unit that are currently in Bui, between Bui, walking to Ngokitunja and Oku. We are monitoring the situation. Our population should be aware. The Cameroon terrorism and scorched earth policy will continue to be challenged until they cannot no longer walk through our country. Our technologies are getting better. We are getting better. The future is bright. Independence is inevitable. Capo Daniel, signing off.